Final in Indiana men's soccer, first home conference game of the season. Indiana won, Michigan State won on a Friday night on a cool, crisp autumn night. 1 down, 2 to go. Indiana men's soccer defeats Penn State by the score of 1-0 Friday night here at Bill Armstrong Stadium as they advance to the Big Ten semifinals. Good morning, Bloomington. I'm Austin Platt. As we near the start of March Madness, it's time to take the pulse of hoops in Indiana, a state that eats, sleeps, and breathes basketball.
Hunter back with it, a bit of press here from Chloe Moore-McNeil. Tennessee native, supposed to be one of the Hoosiers' best players this season, especially off the bench, where she was really good in the second half of last season. Utterback driving to that right side, got a screen from Olsen, now feeds it to her in the post. Back out, 14 on the timer, 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Utterback goes to that left side, gets some space, and her shot from just behind the free throw line is money. And it's 13-11 Vermont as Utterback is heating up a little bit. Quickly the other way, Garzone gets it inside to Holmes, goes with the right hand, can't get it to go. Offensive rebound, Holmes puts it in with her left.
And Mackenzie Holmes is going to need to be big for this Indiana team this year. They relied on her heavily last year, even with all the weapons that they did have offensively, and now they're going to need her more than ever.
Here's Calleja, the Spaniard. Olsen thought about a three, bounces it to Vito. Garzone on her, and that ball's going to go off of the Vermont player last. Good defense from Chloe Moore-McNeil. It goes off of Delaney Richardson, and it'll be Hoosier basketball as Alyssa Geary, the Providence transfer, checks back in for Mackenzie Holmes.
And defensively, you can really see the length of this Indiana team starting to bother Vermont a little bit. They're able to get their hands in and pick their pocket. There they were able to get it to go off of her leg. Big time stop.
There's Sydney Parrish for three.
First bucket for the Hoosier back in her home state after a 2-year stint with the Oregon Ducks. Has to feel good for her.
Hit that three-pointer at a mark of 35% last year with the Ducks. Here's Utterback driving into the lane. Richardson thought about a three. Drives inside. Good defense here from Indiana, courtesy of Parrish. She's got a smile on her face. She's feeling it. That ball gets tipped behind the timeline, and that one is eventually kind of slapped up, but event they're going to call it. The ball went behind the timeline. It'll be Indiana basketball.
Take a look at the hustle from Grace Berger, not allowing that ball to go out of bounds. That's a true competitor right there, not letting the whistle stop her. She's going to go make a play happen.
She gets a warm hand as she goes to the bench. Backcourt violation, and there's Garzone with a quick shot off of the inbound. Misses, but nice offensive rebound from Geary, allows Indiana reset. Now here's Parrish again for three, too strong. Rebound in the hands of Calleja, and she immediately gets fouled as Indiana was pressing. Lexi Bargesser checks into the game for the first time. The freshman from Michigan got that crutch on that left leg. She tore her ACL, believe it or not, missed her senior season of basketball, but came back and ran track 5 months after tearing that ACL. An incredible recovery from her.
Absolutely, and to see her back out on this court, it has to feel good for her to be able to get another go at it.
Here's Gilwey. Going up against Bargesser, feeds it inside. Richardson looking to that right side of hers. Utterback nearly traveled it. Ball gets tipped by Geary, but somehow the Catamounts are able to hold on. Gilby with it, 11 on the timer. Guard up against Geary, goes right by her. Nearly lost control of the basketball and then gets swatted away by Sydney Parrish. She'll take the ball up the floor, pass quickly to Garzone. Nice pass inside to Alyssa Geary for the easy bucket.
Absolutely beautiful basketball there from the Hoosiers on the defensive end, running back towards the offensive end. They're doing it all tonight so far.
18-13 Hoosiers, just their largest lead in the ball game with under a minute to go here in the first quarter. Bargesser proving tough against Gilby. Eventually Gilby gets some space, finishes, except they're going to call an offensive foul. Too good to be true.
Take a look at the speed of Catherine Gilby and just pushing off with that arm. And that's a pretty easy call for the official.
Terry Moore opting to go to her bench already. It felt like last year she'd take a while and her bench players would only get a handful of minutes, but we've already seen a plethora of Hoosiers get into the ball game thus far.
Part of the reason of that is because of the experience those starters brought for the Hoosiers last season. This is a different group, though, for Indiana.
Holmes gets it inside to Moore-McNeil, and there's a foul on the play before the ball went out of bounds, and it's going to go against the Catamounts. Great feed down low, and Utterback a bit displeased with the call, a bit in shock as more substitutions. Scalia checks back into the game, as does Calleja. Utterback will take a seat on the bench. Moore-McNeil the inbound. They worked on this today at the shoot-around. Quick feed for Parrish, drives right. Nearly took a shot at the elbow, but feeds it out to Scalia. Garzone with it. The freshman from Israel lost control of the ball, gets it inside to Mackenzie Holmes on that low block, and she finishes with the left hand.
Evansville's going to get things started here, moving left to right on your radio dial in their home white uniforms with purple shorts, orange lettering, and white socks. Away we go. Wet and soggy night. Evansville and Indiana. Purple Aces looking for their first win over the Hoosiers in quite some time. It's been basically since the turn of the century mark is the last time they've won, Joe. As you mentioned, Indiana has dominated in this matchup. They're looking to make it 19 straight wins, and they, of course, won 2-0 last year. Indiana with it, moving from right to left in their away red uniforms. Brett Beebe trying to pick out Tommy Mahalik, can't quite do so. Evansville with it here on the near side, taken away by Patrick McDonald, the sophomore, trying to play a through ball down the left for Ryan Wittenbrink, who leads Indiana in the goal department. He's got 6 on the season, been a bright spot for this team. But Evansville now controls on the far side. Field conditions could be a problem. We nearly saw Tommy Mahalik slip right there. Ball sent all the way down. Dealt with by Daniel Mooney. Missed a couple games due to injury this season. It's been great for Indiana to have back. Joey Mayer now with it, playing as a left center back in his usual position with BB on the left and Sesak on the right as the back four for Indiana. JT Harms in net. He's going to get his first action. Sends it over the top towards BB on the right. He's got some work to do against his opponent, that being Tobias Bach, the junior. Ball sent in the air once again. And we're going to hear our first whistle of the match from the referee. A tug against Evansville will be a free kick for Indiana. They're going to have to back things up, however.
Austin, both teams kind of getting acquitted of those field conditions. It's wet, soggy turf. The ball's pretty much going to stop when it's on the ground. You can see on these low passes on the ground, it's really getting hot. They have to put a lot of power onto their passes to get to the right man.
Yeah, the car ride down here at Evansville, there was a lot of rain, only a few times where there was dry, but definitely a little bit of downpour, and there was maybe a little bit of question whether this game would be played. It was a good through ball, but JT Harms comes out and picks it up with his hands. That's interesting that Harms is getting the start. It's been a back and forth between him and Bryant Pratt this season. Harms has started in 8 games. Was the starter, it looked like, for the beginning of the season. He'll get another chance here as Mayer sends it back to him. The junior from Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. Gets it over Mooney. Ball over the top, looking for Sam Sarver. Can't quite win his header. Evansville holds on in their midfield. Taken away by Indiana. It's a good takeaway. McDonald sends it across to Mahalik. He's got some room. Going to play it to the left where Ryan Wittenbrink is. Wittenbrink trying to get on that favored right foot. Enters the box. Low pass. Played into Mahalik. A square ball ends up in a Hoosier goal. Just like that, 2.5 minutes into the match, Indiana strikes first, courtesy of the sophomore Tommy Mahalik. It's a dream start for the Hoosiers, and they have the 1-0 lead on the road.
Austin, Tommy Mahalik and Ryan Wittenbrink have had a great season so far, especially Ryan Wittenbrink. The past couple of weeks, he's really been on fire. That time, setting up the wide-open Tommy Mahalik on the crosser into the box around the penalty spot, and he's going to bury that 9 times out of the 10 with the right foot. Goalie Vitizzoni for the Purple Aces was not squared away. He wasn't quite set where Mahalik was going. Easy goal for the Hoosiers. They're up early.
Mahalik's 6th of the season. He ties Ryan Wittenbrink, the redshirt senior, who will get his 6th assist on the season, now one behind Nick Sesak for most on the team, but it's a start you could not have asked for a better one if you're Indiana. Mahalik gets his 6th of the season right at the 3-minute mark, and before Evansville and everyone can practically take their seats, their team is already trailing. As you mentioned, Alex Vitizzoni, the graduate goalkeeper, in net. A rude awakening for him. This is his 13th game started this season, and he's given up a goal per game.
Talk about confidence, Charlie. That's such a big thing in baseball, given the number of games you have to play in a season and the grueling schedule. The game is so mentally driven that it's important for these Hoosier hitters to kind of ignore the scoreboard and just try and claw their way back in this game.
Yeah, I think the tempo is going to start to go back to normal here.
First pitch that Cerny sees, he drives it out to deep left center field. It one hops off the wall. Matheson is rounding third. He'll get the send and the wave around home. Here comes the throw, and it is not in time. Gets past the catcher Andrews, and Tyler Cerny with an RBI double. 3 hits to open up the second for Indiana, and it's a 6-2 ball game.
3 consecutive hits in a row. A home run, a single, and then a stand-up double as Matthew Ellis comes up to bat. What a response, though, in the second inning from Indiana after getting fanned 3 in a row in the first. It looked bleak. Sometimes all you need is a few hits.
First pitch to Matthew Ellis, lefty-on-lefty matchup. A big swing and a miss for strike one. Ellis last year, third-team All-Big Ten. Also was a huge reason why Indiana's offense was the strength of the team, had 18 home runs. There's a 3/4 swing. The count is 0-2.
Still no outs for the Hoosiers. Runner in scoring position.
Ellis down on the count, 0-2. Buckeyes playing him to pull. There's a pitch outside from Coupe. You talk about this Indiana confidence. It feels like the 1-2-3 inning in the top of the second kind of set the table, and it feels like ever since the home plate umpire and Josh Shepis made Coupe tuck in his shirt, it feels like it's been so much different for IU. It's 1-2 pitch called, strike 3 on the outside corner.
Never want to go down looking. It's the walk of shame back to the dugout there. It's all right.
Great spot from Coupe, who last season had 98 strikeouts and just 41 walks in 13 starts, 64 2/3 innings pitched. Had a 5-5 record with a 5.71 ERA, but the way his stuff can work and the way he's improved this season, he's got 3 pitches he throws, and we talked to head coach Bill Mazziello for the Buckeyes earlier this week, and he said that he's been working on that 4th pitch and has been a real reason why Ohio State's been playing better ball as of late.
And there's such a difference from last year to this year in Coupe's performance. Last year he had moments of inconsistency, but this year he's been that go-to guy for Ohio State, and he's really excelled in that role.
So Bobby Whalen at the plate. Here's a 3-game hit streak. Runner goes, pitches inside, and there's no throw made to third as Andrews had trouble getting out of his glove. So it's a stolen base for Whalen. He got a really good jump. Pardon me, a stolen base for Cerny with Whalen at the plate.
And that was very aggressive. You can tell Indiana wants that 3rd run before the end of this inning.
So now a fly ball or a ball on the ground should do the trick. There's the ball on the ground, and there's going to be no plate home. The play will be made at first base as Ernst thought about making the throw home to try and cut down Cerny, but will take it himself the short way. That stolen base turns out to be a good one for the Hoosiers, and that's the 3rd run of the inning for IU.
Now that is some great baseball. You steal third the pitch before, and it sets up a perfect RBI. Great coaching. And that's how you manufacture runs. It's a perfect example of that.
Didn't look like Cerny even got assigned to steal. I think he just kind of took that to himself and said, hey, you know what, if you're not going to hold me on, I'll just take third myself and make the job a lot easier for Whalen. So here comes Hunter Jesse. Count now 1-1 after he fouls that pitch back. Jesse, the left fielder, hitting over 300 for the Hoosiers this season. 3 home runs came all here at Bart Kaufman Field. 13 RBIs. 1-1, cut on and missed.
Looked like some off speed on that last pitch. Fooled Jesse.
Coupe working quickly, 1-2, another swing and a miss. Got him the same pitch twice in a row.
That was in the 80th minute, that equalizer, but Indiana nearly got a chance to win the match. A crazy final few moments that included a red card, 2 VAR checks, and eventually with 4 seconds left, Indiana booted the ball forward, and Joey Mayer flicked the ball on with his head towards the goalkeeper, and we thought game of inches it could be the ball crossed the line. That's what Mayer thought, but eventually referee said it ends in a tie. Indiana avoids losing 2 straight for the first time since 2013, but they will feel they got robbed of all 3 points. I'm here with Coach Clavio at the half. Coach, you only scored 17 points 4 times all of last season. You scored 17 in the first 30 minutes of this game. What'd you like?
The fact that we scored 17 points. That was a nice thing to see. I'm very excited about some of the things our offense has done. We still got some kinks to work out, obviously, but it's nice to see us out there and actually competing against a good Big Ten team. Your offense is competing, and so is theirs. They get the ball to start the second half. What's one thing on defense that needs to improve? Well, we just got to tackle better, but we got to tighten up because we got to win this game. All the best in the second half. Coach, back up to you guys in the booth.